It's time for Luke Howard Live! Thank you very much, thank you! Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You're really kind, you really, really are. Thank you very much for that wonderful, wonderful round of applause. Hello, welcome to the show. It is Wednesday the 13th of January 2021 and it's lovely to have your company as always on the show. We'd love to hear from you as well. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can go on to Instagram. It is the Luke Howard fan page, and you can also you could also find us on the hashtags as well. It's hashtag Luke Howard, hashtag Luke Howard Live, and hashtag Luke Howard Live at lunchtime. It's lovely to have your company today, and of course at this very unusual time as well. Very unusual. So there's other ways how you can get in touch with today's show as well. You can do email, which is, what is it? Do we know what it is? We do know what it is. It is 345-457 at student.hrc.ac.uk. That's one way on how you, dear listener, can get in touch with the show today. And another email that you can get in touch with the show is GaryJHoward68 at hotmail.com. That's another way on how you can get in touch with Britain's best radio show today. And it's a bit grotty out there as well. I'm here all this week from the time of 12:30 till 1:15 to keep you company at that time. So that is the time that I am keeping you company on this very show at this very moment. Okay, so where are we going to start today then? There's lots more news that has been breaking today, but actually I want to talk about something else, and it's to do with free school meals, and we are going to talk about that on this show now. We'll kickstart with talking about that, and then we'll move on and talk about something else. But we are talking about, as I just said, school meals. So, okay, we all know that Marcus Rashford is trying his very best to get the message out there about free school meals. But a mother, she posted a photo on social media the other day. We're going to start off with this story of a food parcel that she received, and she has told of the sense of sadness that she felt on seeing what it contained. The mother, who wants to be anonymous, she told a BBC programme, as I unpacked that food parcel and looked at the contents, it was very sad. And of course, it was depressing as well. It was Chartwell's, which was the firm which does supply the parcel. They apologised, which was good, and they asked about photos of the parcels, and the health secretary said the contents were clearly inaccurate. And Matt Hancock told a news programme when that issue was surfaced, and the colleagues in the Department for Education were actually on it straight away. From that time, that was when they were on it from them. And the Department of Education was on a straight way, and it spoke to the company, which apologised and got it sorted out, which was very good. They dealt with that very well, which was a very good thing to do. They did it, and then they dealt with it, and I thought that was dealt very well. So well done to them for dealing with that. He said everyone is collectively sorting out something very rapidly, and adding that the food parcels have got to decent meals as well. Now, food parcels are being sent to pupils in this country, okay? They are being sent to everyone around here, and it would normally be illegal for free school meals while schools are closed during lockdown. And the row did break, though, because it was after the mother, using an online name Roadside, she posted a photo on Twitter the other day, of 2 carrots and potatoes. Why would someone post that, really? It's very strange. And a tin of baked beans, and a small range of, other food items as well. It sounds quite interesting, actually, that does, which she calculated to have cost about £5. The post promoted off others to complain about the quality and quantity of the food they had received in similar parcels. I never really knew that. I never. Oh yeah, I've got the photo right in front of me now. Yeah, that's very good. Very, very good. The mother, who is disabled, she had thought it was supposed to last 10 school days and should have been worth 30 quid with a couple of apples, a couple of carrots, a couple of slices of bread, a can of beans and a bunch of bananas. I mean, would that really last 10 days? Would it all last 10 days? Remember, you've got all that food to last you 10 days. I don't actually think it will last that. And apparently it's worth 30 quid. All those bits and bobs. So, yeah. But she told BBC Breakfast on Tuesday as she unpacked that food parcel in her living room and she looked at the contents, and it felt very sad and it felt depressing as well, which is what she said. And she said that one of the children did come in and saw me laying this out on the floor and wondered, "Mum, why are you lying there on the floor?" She said, "I was going to picture it because it didn't look like a lot." Well, it's true, really, isn't it? It's true. She said, "I could see the children's relation that this is what I've been given to eat for a week and sense of sadness." Well, I never actually knew that, really. But where has the rest of it gone, though, she was asking. She said, "This is meant to be a week's food, but why does it say mean?" Chartwell's was the company that provided the parcel, and they said it is actually only intended to last 1 week and had cost £10.50 for food packing and distribution, apparently. So, yeah, apparently they sent it round to her. Chartwell sent it round to them, apparently. But the firm said it had been required to provide thousands of food parcels at extremely short notice, but acknowledged it was influenced, and they also apologised as well. But the interior social media images of food parcels, they drew with widespread criticism. Footballer Marcus Rashford, once again, a high-profile campaigner for children on free school meals. He shared images of some parcels online, calling them not good enough, after a meeting with a company that had said one thing that is clear, and is that there was little communication with the suppliers that a national lockdown was coming back again. "We must all do better, though," is what he said. And he also said children should be going hungry on the basis that we aren't communicating or being transparent with plans. That is unacceptable, apparently. It's unacceptable. But Labour's leader, Sir Keir Starmer, he tweeted that the food appeared to be worthily increment and said it needed sorting immediately. Immediately was what he said. And Anne Longfield, the Children's Commissioner, called on companies to provide real food and real amounts that will really help families. But meanwhile, Dr. Max Davey is the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health. He said the contents of food parcels were not naturalising and significant for children and young people as well. I mean, I never actually knew that, to be honest with you. In a statement yesterday, Children's Minister Vicky Ford, she said that catering companies must urgently improve the quality of food parcels being sent out, not in, out, to illegally children received a healthy, nutritious lunch that will give them the fuel they need to focus on learning at home. Now, Mr. Ford said the food parcels are being shared online were completely unacceptable and do not reflect the high standard of free school meals where we can all accept to send to children. She added Chartwell's I've seen this company before, actually. I've heard of this company before. It's rightly apologised and admitted the parcel in question that was not good enough, but they also met their managing director earlier this very day, and he has assured that they had taken immediate action to stop further deliveries of poor quality parcels. She said anyone with evidence of problems should provide details to the Department of Education, which is the DfE, for investigation. Now, the government will set the further details today on how best to report this and other matters. But Chartwell's, which is owned by a Compass Group, which has pledged, and I never actually knew this. I never knew this. It was pledged to refund costs where food parcels have not met its standards. And it's also to contact schools to understand where shortages have occurred, while also apologising to anyone who has also been affected. It has also said the firm will further enhance its food parcels following the Department for Education's additional allowance of £3.50 per week per child in line with the nutritional guidelines, which is what it is before. But People have been asking this question though, haven't they? The question that they've all been asking is, what does guidance on food parcels say? Parcels should contain food items rather than pre-prepared meals due to food safety considerations, and they've got to minimise the fridge and freezer space that schools and families will need to store foods, and contain items which parents can use to prepare healthy lunches for their children across the week, and of course not rely on parents that are having additional ingredients at home to prepare meals. Not contain items restricted under the school food standards, and now cater for people who require special diets, for example allergies, vegetarians or religious diets. Schools should ensure there are systems in place to avoid it all. But if schools cannot provide parcels, they can consider other agreements that might include vouchers for local shops and supermarkets, which I think is a very good idea. And they've made a pledge in November just gone to provide free school meals in holidays until Easter next year, would you believe? But they're saying in Scotland, where holiday provision is currently promised up to Easter this year, both the SNP and Scottish Conservatives have pledged to fund free school meals for all primary school pupils during this term time and holidays if they win the 2021 Scottish election, which I never actually knew. To be honest, I never knew about that, but yeah. Oh, before I forget, special mention to a friend of mine, Corey Webb. It's his 19th birthday today. Happy birthday, Corey. Have a great day and enjoy. Happy birthday to you. Anyway, let's move on now to COVID news. Of course, our COVID bit, we'll talk a little bit about that. And after that, we have some music and our escape time as well, where we relax and play some relaxation music on this very show. Okay, so COVID now, the large trial of new treatment is going to be beginning in the country. I found out on the news this morning, apparently Asda supermarket is going to be giving out vaccinations. It came up on my phone this morning that they're going to be doing that, but I think we should leave that one for another time. But the first patient received the treatment at Hull Royal Infirmary yesterday afternoon. It involved, though, inhaling a protection called inflammatory beta, which the body produces when it gets a virtual infection. The hope, though, is that it will stimulate the immune system and priming cells to be ready to fight off viruses. Now, early findings suggested that the treatment cut the odds of COVID-19 patients in hospital developing severe disease, such as requiring ventilation, by almost 80%. It was developed at Southampton University Hospital, and I never actually knew this, and is being produced by the Southampton-based British company Samaran. The course of treatment with the new drug could cost around £2,000, which is not that expensive though, really, if you think about it, for a hospital treatment. But to be visible, it will have to represent good value for money, and Surgeon's Chief Executive Richard Marston has said that Alexandra Ashton, 34, was the first person to receive the treatment as part of this new trial after she was admitted to hospital with COVID on Monday just gone. She has a young daughter at home and she is desperate to get back to it as well, and demonstrating the treatment, the nurse has handed her a nebulizer that makes the drug into a fine mist, with Alexandra inhaled as deep into her lungs as she could. Now, Enregistrable beta is part of the body's first line of defence against viruses, warning that it is expected a virtual attack. The COVID seems to suppose its production as part, or it's a strategy to evade immune systems. The new drug is a special formalisation of enteral beta delivered directly to the airways via a nebulizer, which makes the protein into an aerosol. The idea is a direct dose of protein in the lungs will trigger a stronger anti-virtual response, even in patients whose immune systems are already weak. Now, the result of a smaller phase 2 clinical trial of a treatment conducted last year, where it was promising. It suggested that the chance of COVID-19 patient in hospital getting severe disease requiring ventilation, for example, which was reduced by almost 80%, which I never knew. Patients were 2 to 3 times more likely to recover to the point where everyday activities were not comprised by their illness. Surgeon has also said that the trial also indicated very significant restrictions in breathlessness among patients who received this very treatment. Now, in addition to the advantage, time patients spent in hospital is said to have been reduced by a third for those receiving the new drug, down from an advantage of 9 days to 6 days. But the trial was small and just 100 patients, and more They all got tested and it's needed before it can be authorised for use. The new phase though, the 3 trial, is much larger and it will involve more than 600 patients in 20 countries, which I never knew. But as in the earlier trial, half the patients will given the drug, the other half, and will get there as known as a replaceable and an effective substance. The team is running the trial though, and they do say that it may hope that it will be completed by early this summer. If the results are anywhere near as good as in the earlier trial, they expect authorisation in the